Deportations are inevitable.
Hey guys, you know that I don't really walk away from sensitive subjects because what's the point? They're going to slap you in the face eventually. You may as well deal with it up front to the point where you might be called a name. Doesn't really matter if they call you a name, but you might be called a name. So it's best to just, deal with these things rather than put them off and not deal with them. Bury your head in the sand. That's not worked out well for us so far. And as they say, American politics is upstream of British politics. American culture is upstream of British culture. Unfortunately, we're not seen as a nation that is capable anymore of creating our own culture and our own ideas. We import them from America because for some reason that's normal now. But anyway, as we've seen with identity politics, intersexualism, neo-Marxism, and all the other weird shit that comes from America that they blame Britain for, we're going to see more of this coming forward. So let's deal with it now. Let's watch some Americanisms and American people talking about things that we have to talk about eventually in our country, and which I've been saying we should already be talking about now. Because if we don't, we're going to be caught off guard. I don't want to be caught off guard, do you? Let's get our arguments steadfast, rooted in foundations of fact now, rather than just wait for people to call us a racist. Anyway, let's listen to this.
10 ways you say the N-word without saying the N-word. If you use any of these terms
I will happily say nigger.
Or phrases in reference to Black people, you are just as racist as the person that actually uses the N-word. Here are the words: thug, ghetto, welfare queen.
I just want to say, I said that N-word, by the way, because I do not believe in this idea that we're not allowed to say a word, because a bunch of people say we're not allowed to say a word. And they reinforce this with violence. Violence. So I'm not intimidated by violence. I'm not intimidated by being cancelled. Okay? There's a word that we're not allowed to say, and it's called nigger, right? We're not allowed to say that word, apparently. And YouTube listening to this, I'm saying this literally. I will... the thing is, even though I'm trying to make a point, YouTube will see this as some kind of racist statement. It isn't. It's making a point. It's free speech, okay? Having someone literally tell you that you're not allowed to say a word because they will threaten you with violence is an act of terrorism, okay? I'm not going to be terrorized by people saying that I'm not allowed to say a word, okay? That's where I'm standing. That's the hill I'm going to die on. You want to tell me something I'm not allowed to say, and I'm going to say it even harder. So anyway, let's listen to the 10 words that we're not allowed to really talk about.
Lazy, race baiter, race grifter, threatening, angry, dangerous. Or you say that we're playing the victim or we are a diversity hire. What you actually mean to say is the N-word. Just stop it. If you say these words or phrases, you are calling us the N-word. If you say these ignorant racist terms or phrases around your children, you're also teaching your children to be racist just like you. So I have good news and bad news for you. Here's the bad news. You're not as non-racist as you thought you were, and you're certainly not anti-racist. Here's the good news. You can unlearn all the racist crap you've been taught and reject white supremacist ideologies that you've believed for your entire life. Now, if you're ready to do that and start becoming a part of the solution...
Whoa, that sounds like a racist person telling white people that they're pieces of shit and they should just listen to black people. I'll be honest, I don't accept that. I don't accept it. The same as I don't accept that this woman with the 5 o'clock shadow is the moral authority on what you can and can't say. I am very tired of this. I'm very tired of this, guys. I'm very tired of people telling me what I can and can't say, or whether I'm a racist or not. And by the way, using that word doesn't make you a racist. It doesn't make you a racist. The fact that they use it in a friendly manner when talking to each other shows that it is not a powerful, venomous word that injures them.
My nigga just made bail.
The word is used to shut you up. The word is used as a power play to lord over you their control over your speech. And I don't accept that. Sorry. No more. No more. Not for me, thank you. And YouTube, once again, this is a point of view. This isn't a racist statement. Let's listen to this guy.
Who is we?
Wait. Let's go back to the beginning.
To my white people.
To my white
I'm
people.
seeing little comments and stuff like that. Saying like, who is we? I wasn't a slave owner and all of this and all of that and all.
Right, okay. This argument is so done. Of all the people in history, I think white people deserve credit for ending slavery. Ending slavery that black people were doing to themselves. They were buying and selling themselves to other people around the world in order to enrich themselves, or buy mirrors, or, you know, some rum or something, or whatever they fucking did. They did everything apart from invent the wheel. And now they come into our countries years and years later, hundreds of years later, after slavery was ended by the British, which I paid for in my tax money up until 2015. No other country can say that, nor the people in the world can say that they've actually paid in their taxes to end slavery and then be lectured by this guy. This guy telling me that I'm some kind of problem for something that happened in the past when the entire world was engaged in slavery, again, that we ended.
All that bull crap. I ain't trying to hear that.
I ain't trying to hear that. I can't fucking Jesus Christ, man. Fucking I can't fucking these fucking do stand, man. Fuck Jesus, man.
It doesn't matter if you was not a slave owner. You still benefited from.
Well, that makes you part of the problem, you fucking idiot. You weren't a slave owner. You must be part of the problem too, right?
Your ancestors doing this stuff. All that family business, all that land that y'all have, all of that came from that. So, it doesn't really matter. Y'all are not doing anything to fix the subject. All y'all trying to do is point fingers at your ancestors. No. You need to be like...
Literally what he's doing. It's exactly what he's doing. The self-awareness is shocking. The self-awareness is really shocking, guys. How do we deal with these people? They have no idea what they're talking about. They're doing the exact thing. They're doing the exact thing that they're complaining about. But yeah, okay, let's keep going. Let's try and take these people seriously, guys.
What can I do to fix what my ancestors has broken, instead of trying to say, no, I didn't do it. That
I don't know what that means.
But it was your family. So I'm not really trying.
Your family sold your ass. I mean, if we want to go back and do like the family thing, okay, then your family sold your ass to some white people. And you're lucky, by the way. You're so lucky, you don't even realize. If you were sold to the Arabs, right, your family would have been castrated. You would not exist. You are so lucky that you got sold to the United States. You should be grateful. They didn't castrate you. They didn't murder you. They let you have children. And here you are today complaining about the fact that you weren't sold to the Arabs. Mental bullshit take.
I'm trying to hear this and that. I'm not trying to hear that.
I'm sure you're not. This and that and this and dootin', that and batten. Anyway, like, there's no point made here. Where's the rational thought? Where's the critical thought? Where's the points made? You've heard some stuff on the internet, and now you're repeating this online because you think you have some kind of moral superiority, and you don't. You have nothing. You have no moral superiority. Like zero. I don't think you realize how tired we are.
I ain't trying to hear about no average folks that was slave. You know, I ain't trying to hear about no,
Come on. Finish your sentence.
We was too poor. So if what you're saying is, if you wasn't too poor, you would have had you a slave.
I have no idea what this guy's talking about. Anyway, moving on.
What is
Here's a UK. And again, right, I don't want to say all black people are like this. This is definitely not all black people. I know some black people that are fucking sound, all right? I need to point out the bullshit because these are the weirdos that get the voices, the ones that scream the loudest. These are the psychopaths, okay? We need to talk about these people, otherwise they will be the voice of all black people. I want normal black people to go on the internet and start talking about how they're not super racist, weird hypocrites. That would be awesome. I don't see a lot of it though. That's all I'm saying. I do see a lot of this. And maybe this is being pushed by the mainstream media. Maybe this is being pushed by the government. I'm tired of it all. It's all water off a duck's back at this point, guys. I'm so tired of it. I look inside like this guy looks right now. He's fucking just tired. Just tired of this. Let's fucking go. All right, let's see what she's going to say.
Patrick, I do think it's quite a nuanced case, but I do want to kind of...
A Scouse African. Wow. One of the worst accents in the world. Oh, fuck. Jeez. All right, let's go back to the beginning.
Patrick, I do think...
Hey, Patrick, I just want to fucking tell you, like, why don't you just, like, stop being racist, like, you know what I mean, Patrick?
I think it's quite a nuanced case, but I do want to kind of come in on some of the points you made when you introduced this, because the report is quite broad and wide-ranging, and it has more than 15 recommendations, with just one of them being concerning race. And in regards to the hijab incident, it does actually...
Sorry, I need to mention, actually, this is about anyone who believes being called a racist outweighs the risk of a black or brown child being murdered. So it's a really light subject, something we can laugh about. Should hang their heads in shame. Former police officer Chantel Lunt discusses Shara Sharif. Oh, fuck. Yeah, it is quite a heavy subject. Shara Sharif was a 10-year-old who was murdered by, I think it was her father, right? Yeah, it's a really bad case. Anyway, so... Shit, that's gonna change the dynamic of this conversation. Anyway, let's go back to the beginning. I'm going to take this one seriously now.
Patrick, I do think it's quite a nuanced case, but I do want to kind of come in on some of the points you made when you introduced this, because the report is quite broad and wide.
Look at her fucking glasses, though, and her earrings. What the fuck is this shit? How professional do you want to look on a really serious topic? Well, I know what to do.
Ranging, and it has more than 15 recommendations, with just one of them being concerning race. And in regards to the hijab incident, it does actually point out that the head teacher was quite robust in asking why she was wearing a hijab at such a young age. And also it was noted that the hijab was covering some bruising on her face. It doesn't actually mention professionals being reluctant to ask questions around them, social care professionals.
The reports that I've seen, yeah, sorry, I'm not trying to cut across you straight away there, but there was additional reporting on this in a couple of national newspapers today, which was a follow-up interview during which it was outlined that basically people involved felt as though that they were worried about being called Islamophobic had they looked into the headscarf. So I do get that, but yeah.
So I think she's defending the fact that the headscarf wasn't the issue, and he's saying actually if you have a headscarf, then removing the headscarf would deem you Islamophobic, and therefore they couldn't remove the headscarf and check the bruises. So it wasn't necessarily... Oh, is this distracting? Is this distracting? I should probably take these fucking ridiculous Yeah, I should probably not wear these in a fucking serious interview, right? Anyway, so she's arguing that the headscarf had nothing to do with it. He's saying, actually, yeah, it probably did had something to do with it, because if we take the headscarf off, we're going to be called Islamophobic or racist or something like this. Therefore... how are we supposed to protect our children when they're wearing a headscarf and they've got parents that are abusive? Obviously, she's got a different take. This is very early on. Let's keep going.
But is the fact that there's any any issue there. I get there's a catalogue of failures here, but for me, this is the latest in quite a lengthy line of things where that fear of racism or fear of Islamophobia has had an impact, really. And I just wonder if we need to try to deal with that a little bit.
So firstly, there's a number of parts of this. There's the comments by the neighbours who mentioned that they thought that the fear of being called racist stopped them from reporting it. And I just have to ask this. Anyone who believes being called racist outweighs the risk of a black or brown child being murdered, just hang their heads in.
Yeah, but anyone that believes that being called racist doesn't mean that their career will be fucking ended by the psycho leftists out there. They probably need to check themselves and just end their career, don't they? Because being called Islamophobic and being called a racist, it's probably something that you need to check yourself for, because it's literally ended people's careers. And taking someone's headscarf off as a teacher will end your career. Look at the guy. Is he still in hiding right now for drawing the picture of Muhammad, like that teacher? He's still in hiding, right? There is a real serious risk to teachers when it comes to taking the headscarf off, talking about Islam, doing anything to do with this. The idea that this woman is saying that we should just disregard all of the warnings by black people or brown people or Islamists that literally threaten us and say, don't you do this, don't you do this. And then when we don't do that, they come out and say, hey, but you should probably do it anyway, because, you know, what's the risk? Be like, hey, you might end your career, but and maybe a false alarm, but hey, it's not worth the risk, is it? Like, listen to this again.
Really, and I just wonder if we need to try to deal with that a little bit.
So firstly, there's a number of parts of this. There's the comments by the neighbours who mentioned that they thought that the fear of being called racist stopped them from...
Why? Why did it stop them? If it wasn't institutionalized and if it wasn't such a big deal, then why did it stop them? If you have a lot of power on your racial aspects and you use that constantly to denigrate white people, to shut them up, to browbeat them, to make them feel like shit, then why do you complain when they stop talking? The thing that you tell them to do constantly, why do you complain when they do it? It's your fault, and you know it's your fault.
Reporting it. And I just have to ask this. Anyone who believes being called racist outweighs the risk of a black or brown child being murdered, just hang their heads in shame, because we see how quickly people are intervening when there's a perception of a black or brown man being a threat to children, specifically in predominantly white areas. So why was that urgency missing when a black or brown child's life was at risk? But I do...
Listen to what you just said, right? There's a prominence among white people to protect their children when there's a antagonist attacking children in a white area, right? So we want to protect our children against a outside threat that is black or brown attacking our children. This is a brown person attacking a brown child in a brown area. What you're saying is contradictory. It doesn't make sense. And again, I do feel like this is disingenuous. It feels like this is just blaming white people for something that we haven't done. It isn't our job to police diverse communities. It isn't our job to be the gatekeepers of violence against yourselves, your own communities. It's your job. If you can't do it, fine. But you told us to shut up.
I think we need to look at some of the more broader points, especially around domestic abuse.
I hate the fact that we're talking about this, by the way. A little girl's been killed. It's disgusting. I hate the fact that this is being politicized. And I'm sorry for bringing this up, but they're doing it. They're doing it. And I'm not afraid to confront every single thing that they say. They want to bring up a little child and use it as a political talking point. Let's go.
And the points around culture, because we had a man who was noted in almost every paragraph of being a domestic abuser and coercing professionals and everyone.
So what did that local community do to stop it? Nothing. They did nothing.
around this child. But in relation to culture, it doesn't just talk about this fear of being called racist. It talks about how the child's mother wasn't given an interpreter, so she wasn't able to counteract a lot of the allegations being made against her because she wasn't able to properly respond to them. It also...
You all know what I'm going to say. You all know what I'm going to say. Speak fucking English then. You've come to England and you don't speak English. I'm sorry, but like there's a certain amount of responsibility that lies with individuals and their families and their community. It is not our fault that you don't speak English. It is not our fault that you came to an English-speaking country and you didn't adopt the language. You didn't adopt the customs. You kept your customs. You kept your language. You stayed in your community, and this has happened, and now you're turning around and blaming white people. I'm not accepting that. Sorry, guys. I'm just not doing it. And this is not like a shit on brown or black people. This is going to go further. Like, this is a indoctrination program that is started in the universities, in the media, and it's spread throughout Western civilization. This is really insidious and it needs to stop. We need a complete reversal when it comes to what it means to be a Westerner, what it means specifically for my country to be an Englishman or an Englishwoman. We need to adopt the old values and the old customs and push away this foreign rhetoric that is trying to dilute our culture, our history, our civilization, and tell us that we're bad people. If you do not enjoy our culture, if you don't enjoy our countries, if you don't adapt to them, that's your fault and you should probably leave, okay? And I do not like the idea that we've let this rampant neo-Marxist communist bullshit run rampant in our schools, our universities, on the media, in every aspect of life. We're seeing the denigration of the family, the nuclear family, the bastardization and the demonization of men in particular, the destruction of the wonderful bond that men and women had before, the way that we would work together in synonym. I can't use that word right now. I'll get back to it. But like we would link together and would be able to create a relationship that would work for decades, raise families together, pay bills. One person would do one thing, the other person would do another thing. It was a partnership that worked for generations, thousands of years. And now suddenly we're told that doesn't work. And it leads to weird people like this.
I'm so pro-choice, I don't even think it's pro-choice anymore. I'm pro-abortion. Yes. Go get one. Everybody should get an abortion.
I don't know what's going on, guys, but this is not even a meme anymore. Does this make them mental? The septum piercing? Like they're just a normal person. They clip this on and they just turn into a fucking psychopath. Who the fuck? Like, it gets worse. Let's go.
I'm so pro-choice, I don't even think it's pro-choice anymore. I'm pro-abortion. Yes. Go get one. Everybody should get an abortion. Everybody should have one. Nobody should be pregnant. We should stop having kids. Stop having kids. Go get an abortion. What are you doing? Why are you pregnant? Why are you pregnant?
Well, I'll tell you why. If the women didn't get pregnant, then you wouldn't exist, and therefore the human race dies out within one generation. If what you want comes true and everyone gets an abortion and no one has children, that's the end of the human race. You might want that. I don't. I think that's crazy. I think that's crazy. I think this person's crazy. This person needs to be locked up, taken away, put somewhere safe until she realizes what she's saying is mental. One last one, guys. I know this is a hard slog, but we've all got to do it. We've got to face these things. These things are going to confront us eventually. I know it's all American right now, but holy shit. Actually, there was one British. This is going to come to you too. I haven't seen any of these videos, by the way, but I can tell you straight away that they're going to be mental just by watching the initial image. Let's fucking hell. Look at those eyelashes. It doesn't zoom in anymore. I'll do it post edit. That is mental. That is.
Do you fucks feel good about yourself, like when you're walking around and you see someone with like military dog tags or some stupid fucking vet hat or whatever, and you go, "Oh, thank you for your service." What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? What are you doing? And then you're like, you're so disrespectful. You would never be in the middle. You could never. No shit. Why would I do that? I also don't want to be a garbage man, a ballerina, an NBA player. There's a million things I would not do. What about it? But I'm going to walk up to, thank you.
Do you want to be a sane, rational human being? No? Okay, carry on.
For your service, sir. Thank you for your service. Shut up.
Amazing. Wow, thank you. Thank you for your service. Actually, you're doing a great service to many women out there that watch this and realize that is not the path I want to walk down. I don't want to be a psycho liberal woman that's going to end her life being eaten by cats. Not the life for me. No, I want a husband that loves me, and I want children that look at me as though I am their world and everything revolves around me. I want my husband to come home and thank God that he has a loving wife and children. I want a life that has meaning, and I don't go on the internet and shit over my people and my country for no reason particularly other than internet clouds and a small drop of endorphin. I want a life of meaning, of self-worth. I don't want to be on my deathbed and think, why is no one here? Why am I so alone? That got dark pretty quick. Anyway, if you do like these videos, and you know, do the thing. I'll see you later.